Very excited to see everybody to study Torah. I just wanted to take a minute about today's dedication. So heavy. Torah is heavy. It's a heavy class. So today is a refuah shlema, which is very important. I mean, everything is very important, but refuah shlema is at hand. The name is Rivka Bat Chava, but I'm allowed to say what it is, right? I'm allowed to say, okay. So the young lady's name is Barbara Shallon. She's a wonderful, wonderful girl. I had great experiences. Haven't had great experiences. I studied with Barbara, full of fire, and I understand that she got the flu and then she got pneumonia, and now she's not doing very well. So if you can keep her in mind, those who do say Tehillim, I'm sure you all say Tehillim, but those who add names to Tehillim.
What's her Hebrew name?
Her Hebrew name is Rivka Bat Chava. She's a very young lady. She has two children, two younger children. Barbara, she's a really spunky, great kid. So, I mean, to me, they're all kids. She is in shock. I see it.
Oh, man.
So refuah shlema for her, and I hope that the Torah today and whatever inspiration we have should be a refuah shlema. And for those friends who dedicated it, I'm honored. Okay, so I did a lot of things. Today's a hodgepodge of things. We'll do the best we can. There's 7 pages. That's our goal. Wow. I don't know if we can do it. Is they coming? Can you see them? Okay. All right, so the first part will go fast. First of all, I remember this week's Parashat is Yitro. Okay. Mrs. Galvin, can I just say who you want? No say. Okay. All right, I have to behave myself today. Okay, Parashat Yitro is a very, very special parsha, as all the parashiyot are. And this week's parsha is the Aseret HaDibrot, or basically, historically speaking, when Hashem on Har Sinai gave the Torah to Am Yisrael. This is probably the most, every event is important, but probably the most important event. So what I like to do, and I did it a little bit last year, I'm going to do a little more this year, is before we get to the Aseret HaDibrot, and I actually do have things that I want to talk about, the 10 Commandments, there are the perek of giving the Torah, which is perek Yud Tet, is just started. Well, we're doing this in reflection for Barbara Shallon, so it's important to keep in mind. Okay? Is how God started this perek. There were 3 psukim, Aleph, Bet, and Gimel, and I'm smiling because it just astounds me how, for today, this is so relevant. And which means sort of Hashem is saying, these are the 3 prerequisites for us to succeed as a nation of the Torah. That's the first pasuk. And in the first pasuk, there's just one word. A word that I probably wouldn't even have caught if Rashi wouldn't have said something. And it speaks volumes specifically to Jews in America. Here we go. So the perek starts, B'chodesh HaShlishi. Okay, what month is that, guys? Come on. Sivan, right? Nisan, Iyar, Sivan. On the 3rd month, L'tzeit B'nei Yisrael Eretz Mitzrayim, Bayom Hazeh Ba'u Midbar Sinai. That day, they came to Har Sinai. I just said the English translation wrong. What did I say wrong? I came, Ba'u is they came, but I said on that day, which would be the correct way to say it, correct? Because this has already happened. But what does the Torah say?
This day.
There you go. One word. One word. Instead of saying, Vayom Ahu Ba'u, Vayom Hazeh. What's God's message? Says Rashi. I'll do the English. It could have said only what? It should have said on that day, because that's normal. But what is it on this day? Torah. Right, so didn't have to say anything. I'm with you. Agreed. So it should be new to you as if they were given just today. I just give me a second to the Hebrew. Shiyu divrei Torah chadashim alecha ki'ilu hayom nitnu. Today we got the Torah, girls. Today. This morning we got the Torah. Now why is that so important? Why is God, and the first pasuk before even giving the Torah? So you might say, maybe he's saying, don't get bored. I don't know if you guys remember last week I told you, I think I did. Like one of the lessons Hashem, 2 weeks ago, that Hashem told Moshe when first time he spoke to Moshe was at the burning bush. You guys remember this? And why was the burning bush the siman for Moshe? Because Hashem is telling Moshe, if you're going to be a leader, you have to learn not to burn out. You have to be, you want to be a good, that was a good one. Yeah. So, you want to be a good teacher, you want to be a good parent. So maybe that's what God is saying, right? Don't get bored. Much deeper than that. The destruction and hopefully the rebuilding of Judaism in America is because we didn't listen to God on the first pasuk before he gave us the Torah. When Jews started coming to America, and even in Germany in the late 1800s, they felt they had to do something to make more people excited about Judaism. If you want to look at the next paragraph, this is a paragraph of the Reform Movement mission statement. In addition to our belief that Judaism must change and adapt to the needs of the day to survive, and our firm commitment to Tikkun Olam, the following principles distinguish Reform Jews from Shmir Judaism. Reform Jews are committed to the principle of inclusion, not exclusion. I want you to understand something. In the last 100 years, the goal was not a negative one. If I say Reform Judaism and conservative, I don't want you to go, whoa. It started with a positive, it's not positive in my eyes, but with a good intention. What's the intention? We want people to be part of us, inclusion. Halacha excludes, is the thought. I'm telling you. I looked up things on the internet. Torah, halacha. Torah is good for men, not for women. You got that statement. With the thought of inclusion, with the thought of the fact that Judaism must change and adapt to the new world.
That's what we admit conversion.
That was the goal of the Reform movement. So the goal is to have more Jews or less Jews? More Jews.
But are they really Jewish?
I'm not even going into marriage. I'm not even talking about intermarriage. It's another lesson. We're talking about you want to include more Jews, so you're going to water down, you understand, the prerequisites for what you need to be as a good Jew. And you have to adjust the Torah. Girls, this is very important. God in the first pasuk, come here, sweetheart. In the first pasuk of introducing Torah says, not going to succeed. The Torah was given when? Today. It's not 3,000 years ago. Everything the Torah says is to adapt today. And look what happened to the Reform movement. And look what happened to the conservative movement. I'm not even talking about people intermarrying now. I'm talking about unsuccessful. Okay, ready? Nowhere in this rapid collapse more visible than in the conservative movement. You have to understand, the conservative movement was like the black hats of the Reform movement. No, I'm serious. Conservative was like the black hats. With a rapid collapse more visible than in the conservative movement, which is practically imploding before our eyes. In 1971, straight numbers, guys, 41% of American Jews affiliated with the conservative movement. You know what 41% means? That's almost 50. Okay.
Wow.
Largest movements. I remember. Okay, this is 1971. Okay, so I was born in 52. When I was growing up, the conservative movement was booming. My wife's from Toronto. I got married in 78. The shuls in Toronto, the conservative movement, booming. You about the money that they gave? I don't know if you know what's going on. BDYO, what do you call them? The B'nai Brit Youth Organization?
Yes.
Unbelievable. The amount of camps and institutions and organizations that they had, the monies that they gave. Okay. By the time 1990, it's not a lot, national poll, the Jewish population survey, the number went from 41 to 38. In 2000, it was 26%. And today, it's 18%. Girls, listen to me. I'm not talking about marrying non-Jews now. I'm talking about the success of the conservative movement. So you wanted to succeed. How did you want to succeed? You want more inclusion. By changing the Torah laws. By watering down the Torah guidelines. You lost your people. You didn't gain your people. You lost the people. The conservative shuls today are empty. There is no conservative shul. There are, very few. Now I'm going to tell you why this is so important. Sorry? I don't know. Yeah. Now, I'm assuming so. Okay, he talks about lowering the barriers. I want to give you an example where halacha could be difficult. Very difficult. My grandfather is Holocaust survivor. No, I'm making up. I mean, he was. But I'm just saying. Go to the rabbi, and he wants to say Kaddish for his parents and all of his siblings who died or killed in whatever. He's 92, and he can't get to shul on Shabbos. I want to drive him. Rabbi, what's the halacha? Halacha is no. And that's a tough halacha. That's not an easy thing to say. But that's the halacha. That's the Torah. I'm not here to bash conservatism. I'm here to show you how one has to be so careful. And that's why God said the word zeh. The moment you're going to play with this, it's over. You can't say, I feel bad. You know, I don't want to start, with really crying things. When my wife had to deal with, when my wife was dealing with her mother in the last 3 weeks, people who know this. There are so many halachot involved. What do you do to somebody who's about to die? What don't you do? What do you do? What don't you do? And at some point you want to sort of say, I'm not asking the rabbi. I'm going to do what I want to do. It's my mother. It's my father. The moment we do that, we're in trouble. There's no such thing as archaic things. Hayom hazeh. Conservative movement take out tefillot. They cut out pieces of things that were written thousands of years ago. It's uncomfortable for us to talk about sacrifice. How many places want to cut out Brit Milah? It's inappropriate. The conservative movement said, I shouldn't say conservative. Okay, I'll tell you the story. No. It's an easy story, not a hard story. The halacha is that a boy cannot have a Brit Milah before the 8th day. Have a good day. That's halacha. It says it in the Torah. Bayom hashmini yimol b'tzara. There is no controversy. There is no machloket. Open the Shulchan Aruch based on the Torah. The Torah that was written by Yom Hazeh. If a child has a Brit Milah before the 8th day, it is not a kosher Brit Milah. They have to do Hatafat Brit Milah. It's not a kosher Brit Milah. I'm sitting and teaching a child a couple of years ago. His family today is, half of them already shekels and gone. Okay. But at the time, the parents were conservative Jews. They lived wherever they lived, and they sent their child here, which is nice. By the way, that child brought every other child. I'm telling you, they're all like from today. Kid's a junior boy sitting in my class. I'm teaching this. We teach this junior halakha term 1. I'm teaching the halakha that a boy gets a Brit Milah before the 8th day. It's not a kosher Brit Milah. You see the kids like I see. There aren't that many kids in the room. I see what's going on. He's like, right after class comes over to me, he goes, Rabbi, I think I don't have a kosher Brit Milah. He's 16 and a half.
What?
Why? Because so many people, and again, I don't want to say conservative. X amount of people say, okay, Brit Milah, very nice, but we have to adjust. I'm going to let a guy with a beard do the thing? No. When do they do the Brit Milah? You guys know this? And the hospital before the kid leaves. Adjust Judaism. It's not kosher. Oh, come on, Rabbi. What are you, come on, Rabbi, me? This is not me. I didn't write this Torah. Now, what's interesting to me, and I know I'm on page 1, what's interesting to me is here, it says, given the anointing of Jews, they lower the barriers, right? They expect less of their congregations already in the middle of the second paragraph. Reduce educational demands, sanitize worship, reconfigure. This is the, I was Googling, what did I want? I wanted something about Yom Kippur. I don't remember. I was looking, and I got, again, okay, conservative, whatever. Conservative tefillah, Where did they get this from? First of all, the male and female rabbi standing in front of the thing. Second of all, the guy sitting there with a guitar. It's Yom Kippur. It's Yom Kippur. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to halachically play music in the shul. And of course, half the tefillah is like, brotherly, everybody, like this.
Half of it is gone.
Yeah, half of it is gone. And stuff that I never saw in my life, not because Naftali Besser is the most important. This is made up stuff for a good reason. To get people in. But if God tells you it's not going to work, it's not going to work. And we live long enough now to see that it hasn't. Ironic. Look at the bottom. Of course, but those, of course, were precisely the wrong moves. When people select colleges for their children, professional settings in which to work, or books to read, they're looking for excellence. People are not looking for watered-down things. When somebody turns to religion, they want a religion. They want a religion that you can sink your teeth into. I know sometimes it's hard, and I know sometimes it's difficult. We're going to talk about Shabbat today, if I ever get to it. Shabbat has its rules. But once you can start making up your own rules, so where's Shabbat? You can't in Yiddish, you say you can't dance on zwei chasnas. You can't dance on two weddings. Either you go here or you go here. I love this class. I can throw out all my old, the way I grew up. No offense to all the ex-wives. Okay. If you just turn the page, which is fascinating. Which movement is growing? Orthodox. Ironically. So, moreover, one of the most impressive findings in the Jew report is that 70% of the Orthodox population was raised Orthodox. That means 30% today are Baalei Tshuva. 30% of the Orthodox movement today are Baalei Tshuva. And you know why Baalei Tshuva work? Because they grew up with a watered-down religion. And when you have a watered-down religion, there's nothing, there's nothing to respect. And believe it or not, if you've ever read, I don't know if you are familiar with people who are Baalei Tshuva, like they make me feel guilty, I was once in camp with a kid who came from a family of Baalei Tshuva. I think I was tying my right shoe before my left shoe, and the guy's looking at me like I'm going to Gehenom, He goes, "What are you doing?" I go, okay, let's relax, Yeah, because they're looking for details. They're looking for the laws because they want to live by the laws. So that's the point. And that's by Yom HaZeh. That's the first thing Hashem told us. Sold? Okay, we're all keeping halacha. Second thing Hashem said is so obvious. The second pasuk. Okay, so that was pasuk Aleph, and now on top of the page of 2 is pasuk Bet. I don't think I have to sell this, but understand. This is not coming from my bleeding heart being a nice guy. This is coming from Hashem, who's about to give the Torah. And so before he gave the Torah, first he said, it's new every day. Second prerequisite. Vayisum Refidim, Vayavom Midbar Sinai, Vayachanu Bamidbar, Vayichan Sham Yisrael Neged Ahar. It's one of the most famous sayings. The question, of course, is, it's all the Jewish people. And it says what? Vayichan Lashon Yachid. Says Rashi, Ke'ish Echad Belev Echad. Says every commentary. This is not just a nice thing to say. Oh, the Jewish people were nice. God says, you're only going to succeed as a Jewish nation with one Torah if people care about each other. That's what God said. It's the prerequisite for Hatzlacha b'Torah. It has to go that way. If you're going to have a divisive or divisive situation, it's not going to work.
But it was a singular event.
No, it's then.
Right after it?
No, Vayichan Sham Yisrael. Yisrael is Bnei Yisrael. Right. All the other ones, and this was the first time. So God says, now you're ready for... No, but how does Rashi know it's Kish Echad? Because it says Lashon Yachid. You good? Yeah. Just a nice, interesting case in point. In chapter 14 of Shemot, which is last week's Parshat, Bishalach. I want you to watch this carefully. Fascinating how one little word makes a difference. In Rashi, Paro is chasing Am Yisrael, right? You see it? Paro Hikriv. Vayisu b'nei Yisrael at 10 a.m. They raised their eyes and they saw Mitzrayim. Oh, V'hinei Mitzrayim Nosea Achareihem. Again, so it's the whole nation of Mitzrayim, and it only says Lashon Yachid, Nosea. So you would expect it's the same concept, right? Says Rashi, Why does it say Nosei Achreihem? What is Rashi's first 4 words? Belev echad, ki ish echad. You don't see the difference?
The other one is
Why did he switch it around? If it's the same concept, that they're all united, why by us, he says, by Am Yisrael it says, right, ki ish echad belev echad? Yeah, and there he says belev echad. You guys follow?
Yeah.
And the answer is a reality. This is not, don't tell me I'm racist and hate Goyim.
They hate us.
I didn't say that. The non-Jew in, I was going to say China, but we're staying out of that. The non-Jew, no, because it's always the first thing that comes to mind, China. The non-Jew in Russia and the non-Jew in Pakistan
They both hate
have
us.
no hate, nothing love and hate. They have nothing to do with each other. There is no connection. Not negative, not positive. There's no connection. 2 non-Jews meet each other in the train, there's no connection. What's the connection? When is there a connection? When they're doing something together. So in this case, they hated the Jews, so they get together. So they are belev echad, right? When they are belev echad, when the non-Jew is what? With one intention, then they're ki'ish echad. But not in the natural way. Not so Jews. Not so Jews. Not so Jews. Not so Jews. A Jew and a Jew, according to God, is always connected. According to many, many, many Kabbalists, we all come from one neshama. We are naturally connected. We are ish echad, whether you like it or not. Unfortunately, sometimes we're belev echad, and sometimes we're not belev echad. But ki ish echad, it is. And you know what I'm talking about. Anybody who's ever been someplace where they're in distress, God forbid, even in nice times, you see another Jew, you're already like talking. You're already, but you know half the family and his cousin. But it's not only because of that. There is that connection. That's what Hashem said. And what's important is to be belev echad. It's one of my favorite stories. I've said this a lot in seminars, so I apologize to those who've heard it. It's a beautiful Hasidic story. So you should say this story over to your child. It's a true story. The Abder Rav was the Rebbe, he was a Hasidic rabbi. Crazy story. 2 people were in business. One person did the sales at home. One person did the manufacturing at home, and the other one did the sales, took a boat, out. I mean, like he would go to Vegas, but it wasn't Vegas then, it would be other places. He would go, sell the wares, and take the money and bring it back. One day the Yetzer Hara got the better of the guy who was on the road. He was saying, what am I doing 50-50? Maybe I'll make up a story. I got attacked, I got robbed, I got beat up, lost the money, and I could make 100%. Everybody has Yetzer Hara. You guys are following the story? Mm-hmm. True story. So he makes up a story, comes back, he beat himself up a little bit, and he says, I got attacked, yada. Okay. The other guy felt like, I don't know, and this. Okay, a week or 2 later, they're fighting, you're lying, I'm not lying. So what do? You go to the rabbi. So they went to the Abder Rav, Apter. He was a Hasidic rabbi. So he sits him down. So the Abder Rav says, let me hear your story. Let me hear it. So he prepared this whole story. And he's saying, I was there, and they jumped me, and they beat me up, and the rabbi sits there with his eyes closed. The story's over. Opens his eyes, he goes, say the story again. Okay. So he says the story again, but this time with more. He says the story with, more feeling, crying. Second time, opens his eyes, he goes, one more time, just one more time. Tells the story again. After the 3rd time, the rabbi gets up from his chair and he yells, and he goes, you shakran, you liar. He wouldn't say shakran, he would say shakran, and you liar. And he scared him so much that he admitted, and he gave back the money. Because he didn't say, we're not worthy, you must be a prophet. He says, how did you know, Rebbe? He says, very simple. When one Jew is crying, the other Jew has to feel it. And as he's telling me this story, I didn't feel anything. I'm saying, why am I not feeling anything? He says, after the 3rd time, if I don't feel anything, it's not a true story. Wow. Real story. Feeling in the heart is important. That's what God wants. Ki ish echad belev echad. Ki ish echad, says God, I don't need you. I did that. God did that already. You are ki ish echad. Now you got to play on that ki ish echad. And you have to be with God. But it's a prerequisite. I can't do this without talking about a quick incident And again, I heard it this past January. Every time I hear it, I actually heard it from her, but now I heard it from Steve Garr, repeating it from Racheli Frankel. It just blows your mind. So when the three guys, close the door. When they, thank you. When those three boys were kidnapped, and we were on a trip last year, we gave a Sefer Torah in their honor, and one of the three boys' mother is Racheli Frankel. She's very, very famous. If you ever have a chance in life to hear her speak, you should grab it. She's just an amazing, amazing individual. So the three boys, we know the story, right? So they were looking for 18 days. Okay. Throughout the 18 days, Naftali's mother, Racheli, became a spokeswoman. I'm down. We're number 5. Population. Rachel updated us on events surrounding her personal unfolding narrative while not giving any hope on finding points. Rachel declared that So Rachel declared that Hashem does not always necessarily have to listen to our. I heard her say this twice. You know, when they asked about how she felt about things, she said, God doesn't ask me how to run the world. He runs the world the way he runs the world. It doesn't work that way. He does what he sees fit. She says, it doesn't have to do with the consequences, it doesn't have to do with the results, but avat chinam, chesed, and aflut, these are the results. She is convinced. Everybody here can tell me what they think, but you know something? It's not you to think. She's the mother, and she has a right to say what she has a right to say. Her understanding is that there was a need to show the world and Am Yisrael what it means to be ki'ish echad b'lev echad. And that was the goal of her son's existence in this world. It is. So it definitely, yes. So she is convinced that this was his tafkid, as we say, or tafkid, nobody? Job, purpose in life. But the purpose was fulfilled. The amount of caring that took place during those 18 days was unimaginable. And I'm going to throw something in that she didn't say. Who knows how much that zchut helped other people in this world? Anything that's done in a positive way is a tremendous zchut. And that's why I tell, again, I don't want to keep referring to Chesed Mishnah, but when I take the kids on Chesed Mishnah, I said, you don't understand. You're not just doing a school trip. You're adding to the chesed element of the world. And when you build avat chinam, and you're going into an institution, you don't even know these kids, and you act with them that you love them, you are creating this energy of avat chinam and connection that's necessary for this world to exist and for the Jewish people to exist. And how do I know that? Because God said that. And where did God say that? In this week's Parashat. And he said, I'm not giving you the Torah unless you are ki'ish echad b'lev echad, and said it in Pasuk. There it is. Over and done. So this is not just, I have to just tell you, when we do chesed, especially unconditional love. Regular love is nice. Unconditional love. Even people we don't like. And we show avat chinam, we are keeping Am Yisrael alive. That's just you and the person. I saw her. I'm sorry. What did I do wrong?
No, the chesed that she knows.
Okay. All right. If you guys are going to fight in front, you're going to have to sit in the back, okay? That's all right. Mm-hmm.
I think it's possible that's why Hurricane Sandy happened.
Why?
I'm going to answer 2 ways. I can answer 2 ways. First of all, anything is possible.
Okay.
Second of all, last time I spoke to God was last Purim night. Here we go. Something new that I've never said. I found this. I think this was very interesting. And then we're going to end with the heart. No more heart stories. Page 3. We're on 3 already. Yay. All right. A man asked a Hasidic rabbi, which is the most important side in Judaism? Right or left? What's the answer, girls?
Right.
There are lefties here. They're going to start a movement against me.
Right.
Yeah, it is. Right is the. I can see this now. You know. Right. What do you call it? Women for left. You know.
Or left women.
Left women. Ah. Maybe they were left for a person. Okay. For sure, the right. He said. How do we know? Yosef was upset when his father. Remember this? Yaakov placed his hair. No. So asked the Rebbe. So why is the heart on the left side? Isn't that a nice question? Heart's the most important organ that we have, right? The heart. So it should be on the right side. Right is more important. Nice one. Right, very nice. So this is what the Rosh Yeshiva said. I'll tell you an answer to that. The heart is really on the right, not the left. Why? You see, the heart of a person is made to feel, to emphasize, to connect, to be there for another person, another Jew. My heart was given to me to feel your pain, your needs, and your concerns. My heart was given to me to experience the soul and the heart of the person standing in front of me. My heart is for you, and from your vantage point, my heart is on the right. How nice is that? I love Hasidic stories. No, but it's deep. You get it? Which means if you think that the main reason you have a heart is for you, no! The main reason you have a heart is to feel other people. God can pump God out anywhere. And that's why it's on the right. And that was cute. Yeah, I like it too. All right. And of course, we can't go through a week without saying the most important topic in the world, and that is?
Women.
Women. You guys know already. Very good. Okay.
Left women.
Ambidextrous women. This is like open and shut case. I mean, I said this every year, and maybe a little deeper today. It's Pasuk Gimel. Hello. All right? So Aleph means don't touch the Torah. Bet is love everybody. And Gimel, Mamash, Pasuk Gimel, this week, before God gave the Torah. Before I give the Torah, I need to tell you what's important. Here it is. Umoshe Allah el Elohim, vayikra elav Hashem in Ahar lemor. There's a word here that you maybe don't remember that it's there. Kol tomar lebeit Yaakov, v'taged lebnei Yisrael. I'm going to get to the Ko in a minute. Speak to Beit Yaakov and speak to Bnei Yisrael. So obviously that is redundant. Come on, that's Avi, right? Yes, redundant. So says Rashi, if you think about it, you're going to split the nation into two, right? How are you going to split that? You can say young and old, but the words don't fit that. How else are we going to divide the nation? Men and women. Do the words fit? Absolute. Beit Yaakov, the woman is the bayis. Okay, you're already convinced that Beit Yaakov was the girls, but this Beit Yaakov is the girls because it says it here. You understand that? It's a famous question. They say, how do you know you have to wear a yarmulke? Because it says Moshe went. Would you go without a yarmulke? So, which means it's Beit Yaakov because it says here Beit Yaakov. But it's because the woman is the bayis. I'll get to that in a second. The Taged the Bnei Yisrael, and those are the men. What does ko mean? Girls, it's there.
Thus.
So, how many times did Hashem says, Vaydaber Hashem al Moshe lemor, and then it just says what to say? Daber al Bnei Yisrael. What's the ko here? What's the ko?
This way.
In this, what does Rashi say? Look. Doesn't say it? In this order. In this order. Why is that so big? Because who is first?
The women.
There it is, guys. I'm not making this up. No, I'm not trying to make you feel good. It doesn't say ko often. It says it by Birchat Kohanim because Hashem said say it this way. Hashem is telling us, do not mix up the order. If you think that the woman is just there to make kibbeh and lachmajin, have a good day. We're talking about spirituality here. God is not giving physical stuff. He's giving the Torah. And when I'm giving the Torah, the people who need to deal with this first are the women. That's what it says. Ko. Don't mix up the order. Next. Yes. 100%. We proved that last week, but I'm trying to show you that we said last week that's because of the women's dedication, but I'm trying to tell you that even more than that. I'll even tell you this one. Okay, so the women are, nice and they're dedicated. Let's give them a Tehillim group. Let's do Tzenorena. Hashem's giving the Torah, the Kollel Lakewood Mirror Torah. This Torah has to be started by the women. Only by the women first, and then you have the men. That's what it says. More than that, it something that's so misinterpreted that it bothers me. So not only does it say Beit Yaakov and Bnei Israel, but it has a different verb. Okay, guys, this is very famous. So let's move fast. It says, wow. Tomar, do you want to stay late? It says Tobar and Lagi. Says Rashi, what's the difference? Amirah is a soft language, a gentle language, and a Lagi is a harsher language. So people who misinterpret it, and somebody tells you this shot, you send them to me, because they're totally wrong shot. Some people learn, of course, you talk to a woman, you can't give them some, they can't handle the truth. You remember the movie, no?
Yeah. A few good men.
Oh my gosh, we know the title. Okay.
A few
Some
good
people
men.
learn this as you can't give harsh things to the women. Give them the soft stuff. God forbid. As a matter of fact, anybody who can handle harder stuff is women more than men.
But then clean the
You know what it means here? It means exactly what we do halachically.
Give birth.
And I'm not talking about birth. I want to do more, but I'll try to show you today. Women do not need that much to be inspired to get close to God. Women's spirituality is a soft touch. A little bit. Then they're already there. Women and men, a lot more rules. Come to any of my seminars and I'll show you. I'm very serious. You give me a woman's group, a woman's group, I can start talking about a spiritual topic, I will get attention almost immediately. When we start kumsitz, give me the girls, in a minute and a half they're singing. Boys, I don't know what they do. Huh? Come. I've done this for 42 years. I know what I'm talking about. It is clear that women have the ability, that doesn't mean everybody does, the potential to get closer to spiritual gods than men do. Men need more of a stimulus. And hence, halachically speaking, which I was trying to get to today if I ever get to it, men have more specific mitzvot than women do. Not because women can't handle it, not because women are too busy with their children, with all due respect. I'm pretty busy too. By the way, I take that as an insult when I see that and people tell me that. Women are too busy. Really? Want to see my schedule? I'm also busy. I also have things in my head. I also love my children. And what if I love to cook? What does that mean? So don't make this a man-woman thing. It's inherently with women, how they're created and what they have. That's what we're talking about. Not that they're too busy. Yes.
That's why it says Shasani Kutsa.
Yes.
Maybe that way without any help. Men
Absolutely.
need a lot of help.
Absolutely. No, I didn't say that. Wait. I still have to go back to my friends after this class. I didn't say that either. Okay, very good. Okay, so that's shot. And then it says something very nice. You read it. Okay, the woman is Akera Tabayit. She's the mainstay. And she is. I just want to go all the way to the bottom of 3. Hashem says, we're going to do this in 2 weeks. Vasuli midash v'shachanti b'tocha. Where does God want the first Beit HaMikdash to be? Where is the original Beit? It's the house. And that's what it means. When it means that the women are busy in the house, it doesn't mean you're cleaning the house. It means you need to build the house. The women have more potential. Men can do this too, but not as good as a woman. A woman is able to bring the spirituality into the home. And I have to show you one pasuk. I really want to get to other things today. So page 4, one of my favorite psukim. We say it every morning, and we say it at a chuppah. Look what the pasuk says. I always talk about something else, but something else this time. Matovu oholecha Yaakov. If you have a good ohel of Yaakov is his name, his given name at home, then it becomes a Mishkenotecha Yisrael. You can't get a Mishkan until you build a home. And I can tell you now, of course, there are exceptions. We know homes that aren't so great and the kids come out great, and we know some homes that are great and the kids don't come out great. So is this absolute? No. But a very good way to start is the home. And I can spend more time on how to build a home. Building the home is not that easy. It's not that easy. How to establish what's important in the house. I can tell you two things, and I don't mean to be pushy. Certain conversations that you don't know. You know, where did I just say this? Oh. Okay, it was my mother-in-law Shloshim, I said this. My mother-in-law was a very special person. And how my wife took care of my mother-in-law was very special. So I asked, how many conversations do we see in the Torah that the fathers or the mothers told things to their children? Almost none. How many times do you hear in the Torah, Sarah saying to Yitzchak, how many times do you hear Rachel saying to her kids, don't forget to put your tefillin on? I don't know if they put tefillin on that day. You hardly see it. Why? Because talk is cheap, girls. What you do is important. The most important thing of chinuch is role model. You want to teach kibbud avayim, and many of you do, take care of your elderly grandparents. You want to teach bikur cholim, go to bikur. You want to teach learning Torah, study Torah. You want to teach sacrifice for values, please don't misread me. But mommy, everybody's going to this place for vacation. Everybody's going to this party. We're not going. But mommy, everybody's going. We're not going because it's not for us. If we could once say to our children, not for us, not for us. It's not something we should be doing. And they see that we care enough to give something up, that's the biggest lesson. Again, no guarantees. But that's a good way to teach. I could remember it. I have so many stories. I'm not going to do this story because I've said it 1,000 times. Burning in my head, it's a story that with my dad, I'm not going to tell you the story now, not because I don't want to, it's just late, where he gave up something huge not to hurt another person. And that's how I learned. That's why, I'm telling you, many reasons that I function are because certain specific stories that I remember my parents giving up things for a certain value. So that's how to build a home. Okay, I really prepared a lot, so I don't want to go out frustrated. So here we go. This next thing is a little similar to what I did in the beginning, but it's a nice halakha. Everybody knows it. It's big. I got 12 minutes, and I'm doing it. You ready? Okay. I'm motivated. So this week's parsha is the Aseret HaDibrot. The Aseret HaDibrot are mentioned twice in the Torah. In Shemot, Sefer Shemot, Parashat Yitro, Sefer Devarim, Parashat Et Chana. Got it? The most famous one that has differences is Shabbos. So this one that's very famous. I hope I can fly through this, but it makes a big difference to women, but it has a deeper meaning. So I just want to do it quickly. You have in front of you 4 is from Shemot, you see it, chapter 20. And 5, and what am I saying 4? No. 9 is from Shemot, and 10. Wow. Some of these nice. Okay. So obviously the first difference immediately, everybody knows this one. Quick, right? It says Zachor et Yom HaShabbat v'Kadsho, remember the Shabbat, and there it says Shamor et Yom HaShabbat. Okay, first difference. But I don't know how many of you know the second difference. Somebody says to you, or asks you, what is the reason Hashem wrote in the Torah to keep Shabbat? What's the reason? You get 2 reasons. 2 separate places. I don't know if you noticed that. And the first one is the one that you probably know. If I say to you, why are we keeping Shabbat? To remember that Hashem remembered, I mean, not remember that. We're basically testifying that God created the world, right? So it says, right? And he rested on the 7th day. That's the one we know. Look in Devarim. V'zacharta ki eved hayita be'eretz Mitzrayim. Remember that I took you out of Mitzrayim. That's why we keep Shabbat. Interesting. Everything is in Tziyat Mitzrayim. Why Shabbat specifically? So much is this the reason that next time, this coming Friday night, you're going to smile because you know all this now. Look at the Kiddush Friday night. In the Kiddush Friday night Kiddush text, V'Shabbat Kacho, Zikaron, 3rd line, Zikaron leMaaseh Bereshit. We remember that what? God created. Am I going too fast? No. And look, and then Zecher L'Yetziat Mitzrayim. So the Kiddush specifically says the 2 reasons we keep Shabbat is Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshit and Zecher L'Yetziat Mitzrayim. So we have 2 jobs to do. And we're going to do it. Delete that. One is Zachor Shamor. What do we learn out of it? Right. And what's going on with the Tzitziat Shah? You got it? All in 8 minutes. Next page. Okay, Zachor Shamor is extremely important. First question the Gemara asks: which one did God say?
Both.
Did he say Shamor? How many times? By the way, how many times was the actual giving of the Torah? Once, right? You saw the movie only once, right? Maybe there was a sequel. Yeah. So which one did he say?
Both.
See, he did something weird. He went, Zachor v'Shamor b'dibur echad. He said that in L'chad Dodi for those who go Friday night. Safeguard it. Talmud teaches us when he miraculously caused Israel to hear simultaneously the two complementary aspects of Shabbat. Okay. So if God said both those words together, what's he trying to tell us? They are equal and they are equally important. And they are inseparable. We got that so far? So whatever Zachor and Shamor is, they must always be together. What are Zachor and Shamor? So let's try now, girls, to be Gemara heads. Not try, you are Gemara heads. But let's make believe we're writing the Gemara now. So there are two aspects of Shabbat. Let's divide it into two categories. One is called Zachor and what? So let's see, let me divide. So I could do Friday night and Shabbat. That's a nice division. Does that fit into Zachor and Shamor? Say no, I'm leaving. No. Okay, how else can we divide Shabbat? Go. Meaning what? Who said that? Okay, don't be so smart, you were in my class. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Things that we do, Kiddush, and things that we refrain from. Oh, let's see, does it fit the words? Watch. Your kids are walking out in the winter and you say, honey, remember to... Good. Is that something positive or not to? Positive. So usually you're going to say, remember to do something. That would make sense. Shamor. Watch out!
Don't.
Oh, it even fits. So you just wrote the Gemara, girls. Excellent. So Shamor are things that are not to do, and Zachor are things are
To do.
Okay. I want you to give me a minute of your time before we get to women.
Oh,
It's okay. You're so popular. You know what I think God is saying? Besides, I'll get to women in a second. I think there's a double lesson. I'm going back full circle to the beginning of our lesson. Today, even today, we're not Reform Jews, we're not conservative Jews, but we have this problem in our community. I mean, it's Friday night. You go to anybody's house Friday night meal, Zitto, Victo, Jitto, 80 people. You go to Ashkenaz's house, 50 dibs, herring, fish. Kogo, herring, Zachor. Who doesn't love Zachor? Who doesn't love Zachor? Of course we'll do Zachor. Shabbat outfits? Sure. Build a shul for $50,000 trillion? Sure. But don't watch the football game. Some more. Put on nice clothing. Don't wear that. We're losing the shamor. We forget, that if I dice the onions, it's a yisur d'oraita. Yeah. If I pick out the bones from the chickens in yisur d'oraita. Yeah. That's shamor. Oh, come on! I got so many eye rolls when I teach Lametet Melachot that I can start an eye factory. That's shamor. We're doing what the Reform movement did today. You have open parties on Shabbat? That's what we do for Shabbat? That's a shamor. We're giving up the shamor and we're blowing up the zachor. The second lesson is much easier. So you can read easy. But it's important halakha. The second lesson is very nice. Girls, we all know that women are chayav in all lo taseis. We know that, right? Everybody know that, right? And the patur and mitzvat tasei shazman grama. Correct?
yes.
Except where God says different. And here God said different. Normally you would think that a woman doesn't have to say kiddush, which is the right time. God said, Zachor v'shamor. Anybody who's chayav in shamor, which is the lo taseh, is chayav in zachor. And therefore, a woman is chayav in every mitzvah d'oraita d'Rabbanan on Shabbos. You are chayav to say kiddush. I have it right here. If you don't believe me, there it is. I thought I wrote it down.
It's on page
But there it is.
five.
There it is. Number 13. Number page 5. Number 13. Women are obligated to recite kiddush, even though it's a mitzvah aseh shazman krama, a positive commandment, yada yada yada, and because of that, and therefore women may recite kiddush for men, thereby freeing them of their obligation 100%. One of the cute things that I get always is I get a smile from my students when I put it on their tests. I can tell you a fascinating. Here's the scenario. Twins, all right. I used to use the Michael and Virginia Obed pair, but whatever. For those who know, I said to Michael, Nicole and her husband went away for the week. So it's Michael and Virginia at home. They just turned 12, and they are home together with the whatever homemaker. Who is saying Kiddush Friday night? And the answer is Virginia must say Kiddush.
She's 12.
Because Michael is not chayav yet. So Michael can't say Kiddush for Virginia because he's only 12. She has to say Kiddush for him. And they like that question. They get it right because I told them before. Yeah?
I had this question when my husband wasn't there. I think it was I don't know if it was about Saturday's not there to keep. Do I say it or does my son say it?
Okay, so that's a fair question, and that's up to you because it's in your ballpark. Which means there are halachically speaking, either one. If you're feeling as a mother that it's a nice chinuch move to give it to your child who's over 13, 100%. Look. No, I mean, I'm telling you openly. There is no halacha guideline for that other than appropriateness. The reason the man says it at home is based on that respect concept, right? It's like the man has all the major decisions in life, world peace, Iran, Iraq, and the woman basically does the small things, like where to send the kids to school, where we bank, the mortgage, and everything else. So that is usually the reason why, that too is not halachic. No, meaning there is an appropriateness, but not halachic. I'll even tell you that there is, and I don't think you'll be upset, there are rabbis who say a woman, she could definitely say it at home, but it's better maybe she doesn't say it for somebody else's home, because maybe there's a lack of tzniut there, you know what I'm saying? But these are already not important factors. Yeah. Also, I have to tell you, you said, I'm so happy you said Hanukkah. I hope we understand what I just said. I'm going to say it again. And maybe we'll say why. I mean, not that I know why. Hanukkah, Purim. Women are chayav, even though it's mitzvah chasei shesman krama, but that's an easy one. Because who made up these rules? Who made up the law of Hanukkah? The rabbis, the Rabbanan. I'm not saying man. I mean, who made up the rabbis, the Rabbanan? So the rabbis, when they make up a rule, have a very easy right to say, it's a Yotzei Min HaKlal. You understand? So why did we do Hanukkah? To remember the miracle of what happened. And then we're part of it. Bingo. Kiddush, I mean, it's d'oraita. How much different level? It's way up there. Kiddush is a mitzvah d'oraita. Therefore, we couldn't have said what we just said if God himself wouldn't have said so. My heart tells me this, I have no backup. So why did God make such? So we know that they are because Shamor v'Zachor. In my humble opinion, you know what God is saying? If the a minute. I have connections today. If God is saying that the women are right, the role model, the queens of spirituality, how can a woman not be chayav in Shabbat? Shabbat is the source that we can make our home holy. So I think God specifically said, okay, normally mitzvah naseh shazman grama, there's no need. But I think the women are necessary here to be part of Shabbat. The women who are the akeret habayit need to be part of Shabbat. That's my humble opinion. Please. 100%. Every mitzvah on Shabbos, men and women are equal. Every single one. From a halacha point of view.
Because I was told it's better, somebody, a relative recently told me, it's better to say you're Abdullah.
Ah, you said Abdullah. You didn't ask me. Abdullah is a whole different ballgame. No. Oh, no, so nobody walks out. Nobody leaves. If I have enough. Okay, by the way, believe that I'm going to continue this because we didn't do the Yetziat Mitzrayim thing. But please listen because I don't want you to misquote. No. Just because they start with a hey, they're not the same. Okay, that's Hamotzi and that's Havdalah. No, but listen to me very quickly. Watch my thumb. I don't have enough time now, but here we go. There is a major machloket. This is so cool. This is not inspirational. It's straight halakha. That's what we're supposed to do. There's a major machloket in the Rambam and others what the mitzvah of Havdalah is. The Rambam feels that Havdalah is from the same word Kiddush. I don't have enough time to show you. Zachor. According to the Rambam, Havdalah is the Oraisa. It comes from the same word as Kiddush. Are women Chayav and Havdalah therefore? Yes, it's the same Shamor v'Zachor. If you open the Shulchan Aruch, the first Shita says, the Rambam Shita, women are Chayav and Havdalah. Those who disagree and say, no. Zachor is only Kiddush. Havdalah is only Midrabanan, and it was made for after Shabbos. And therefore, you following guys? Havdalah really is not part of the Shabbos mitzvahs. So therefore, they say women is not Chayav and Havdalah. And therefore, this is Machloket. So the best thing to do is to listen to somebody who's Chayav. But I will tell you, the Shulchan Aruch Mishnah verse says, if there's no one there, a woman can say Havdalah. You want to drink the wine and get a beer? That's up to you. That's something else.
Get a mustache.
Okay, we're done. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next week.